Imagine a place where cannonballs are encouraged, marshmallows are mandatory, and just 5 more minutes turns into all day. That's Veranda Beach Resort on Lake Osoyoos, one of the warmest freshwater lakes in North America, located on the border of Canada in Oroville, Washington. The vibe is delightfully old school, with time spent with family and friends at the beach, on the lake, and under the stars. Sounds of laughter, dogs, and screen doors are the soundtracks of your stay. Rent your own fully furnished cottage with Wi-Fi and all the comforts you need. It's the best of then with all the ease of now. Veranda Beach Resort. Come play, stay, and make memories. Visit verandabeach.com now to book your stay.
Don't ask me to talk.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, everybody. Hello, and thank you for listening. I am the other podcast pal. I'm Stacy Heller.
Stacy, how are you this week?
I am good, but you know what? I want to know how you're doing after your gum graft surgery.
Well, it was more of a tooth extraction than it was a gum graft surgery. Yeah.
Okay.
But I am doing okay. It has been quite a journey. They removed the tooth, and then I guess they saw what potentially was an sinus infection at the same time. So I didn't get the full meal deal where I was going to get some bone inserted and stuff. So they just sewed everything back up and put me on some strong antibiotics. So I am still taking those and hoping for the best, but I am missing one tooth like a grizzled old prospector, like I said on the show last week. So if I sound a little funny or a little extra lispy this week, that's why. It's because I'm not used to having a flute in my mouth, basically, have a hole in the teeth. So that's where I'm at. It was going pretty smoothly, too, and I think because the gum graft surgery that I got before went so smooth, I might have been a little extra cocky this time around, like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. This is all going to be fine. Well, we were having band practice on this last weekend, and I'm like, I'm good to go. This is great. We're finally going to get together because coordinating everybody's schedules has turned out to be a headache this year.
Of course.
But so I was very reluctant to say, let's not do it, especially since we have a show coming up in June. On June 20th at the Valley in Tacoma.
Hey, okay.
But then like 10 minutes before the other guys arrived, I had stitches kind of coming out. I could feel with my tongue, and I instinctively, and sometimes instinct is the worst way to go, grabbed at the stitch trying to just break off the end so it wouldn't be like kind of choking on it. I wouldn't be choking on it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that meant that I just pulled them out. And so I was bleeding pretty profusely there just before the guys were going to arrive.
Gosh.
And I'm like, well, this is not how I wanted to start the rehearsal.
Now, aren't the stitches typically used in the mouth dissolvable? Or do they have to?
I think after a while they possibly are.
Okay.
I generally speaking, I think they remove them once it's healed up. So if they dissolve, it takes a very long time to do so. It seems like for these particular stitches. So luckily I was able to, a little trick that they teach you when you're going to a periodontist is if you are bleeding, you can use a tea bag to stop that bleeding pretty quickly. And so luckily, of course, I've got a ton of tea bags.
Naturally.
And they even give me one in my little to-go pack when I left. So
now,
I put that in there.
Teeth?
What's that?
Is that exclusive to like bleeding in the mouth?
You know,
like, should I be walking around with baby aspirin and tea bags for like triage?
Possibly. You know, it works really well on the gums. So, but I don't know about like, it seems like it would have to work on other body parts if you're bleeding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all the same tissue, right? It's not like we're, I don't know. But,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so I was able to stuff that in there in my little gap in my mouth, and then and fix that up. And so yeah, things are. I'm not bleeding anymore. I am still on the antibiotics, and I've been a little bit woozy this week because of that. But overall, pretty okay.
Okay, that's good. Your Stitches story reminds me when I was a kid. And
by the way, I didn't snitch at all, so I don't know why I had to get these.
You snitched on somebody. You totally snitched on somebody. When I was a kid, we had a rope swing out in the back of our house, or the side, I guess. And where the rope swing was, it was highly sloped. And so you would hold on to it. It was just like a knot. And then you'd go out over the sidewalk. And so like it was at a height. Well, I went out and lost grip and splatted just like that on the sidewalk, landed on my chin. And, that was a mess. But then fast forward to when I was going to hang with a friend for a couple of weeks at her house on Long Island. And my stitches were supposed to come out from my chin. And my parents were like, oh, you're going. You're not staying home. And so they knew a dentist.
Okay.
And so I went to the dentist's office and he pulled out my stitches. I was like, is he qualified for this? And
right.
Turns out he was perfectly qualified.
That's good.
And then the other thing is when we posted the little reel that you posted about the Jell-O sucking through teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Jenny Riley, for validating the fact that slurping Jell-O.
We had a couple comments from a couple weirdos that said that they did the same thing that you did. So you're not the only weirdo.
Not weirdos. I was like, thank you for validating my childhood experience with Jell-O and or pudding. I'm just saying, it's a real thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of weirdos out there. So I don't know if that it validates it.
Stop calling my friends weirdos. So rude. Oh my gosh. All right.
I'm just kidding around, of course.
So what else is going on?
Nice to see some interaction, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just celebrating the girlfriend's birthday this week.
Oh.
And I'm in a great state to do so, of course.
Yeah. When is her
I'm just like going to bed like, if I bleed out, just have a happy birthday. Sorry.
You can have my room. That's yes. Whenever I tell Pete, like, oh my gosh, I feel the worst. I might die. He's like, can I have your room? Sure. When is her birthday?
Well, it's actually today. The day that we're recording this. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. It was, I went to buy a cake this morning, and I should have planned ahead a little more, because the bakery that I went to normally has multiple cakes, but this time they had like 3 cakes for some reason. And the one cake that I thought that she would like, I mean, I'm sure she would like any of the cakes because it's a good bakery, but the one that I thought, oh, this would be good for her, but unfortunately it's the huge size. I thought they would have small ones. The person in front of me is like, can I get a slice of that?
No way.
So I'm like,
they broke into the cake?
They broke illegal. Into the cake that I was going to buy, the full cake. So now I am cakeless at the moment, because I was just like, I got to get to work. I abandoned the mission, and now I'm trying to figure out a backup bakery.
Worst case scenario, you can celebrate with us since you're coming to Veranda Beach.
Yes, yeah, looking forward to that. I mean, like I said, as long as I don't bleed out on Friday. And Gertie's got a vet appointment too, or as my car likes to call her, Gertie. She's got her vet appointment on Friday. So as long as that goes smoothly and both of us are able to travel, we look forward to seeing you in person again.
Yeah, it'll be really nice. And
now you haven't given me the address, so I don't know how serious you were with your invite, but
oh yeah, I kind of
hoping
forgot.
to see you. I imagine I get up there and then
should we go left or
just
right?
Go knocking on doors until you show up.
I mean, fine. I'm going to send it to you. All right. Is that what you want? Well, I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be, normally I'm there for like a week or two before, like now, Memorial Day. But this time, Texas is getting in my way, man.
Texas. Always getting in the way.
Right? My God.
You never should have messed with it.
Yes, never. I have been continuing my saga of the wedding dress shopping.
Wait, you still haven't sorted that out?
Okay. So here's the thing. I found another one that I liked that seemed like kind of fun and flirty. And
another green gladiator dress?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And I was like, this one's really cute, but it's not really cute because it just made me look square. And I was like, okay, no. So I had to send that one back. And then I made Pete go shopping with me because I was like, maybe I should be wearing a shorter dress to show off my ankles because my ankles are my best feature. And I dress shopping in Texas when the humidity is crazy, even though you're at a department store that's supposedly air conditioned.
Oh, yeah.
I tried on probably 20 dresses last night, formal dresses. I was sweating balls, and I don't even have balls. I was like, this is horrible. And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm just going with the first dress that I got. So then we had to continue the shoe saga because I'm trying to bring all this stuff with me since I'm not coming back to Texas until the end of the summer. So it has been a lot. It has been a lot. And I've tried to get in all my doctor's appointments before I go. So I've been getting all of that all set. So I found out that I'm a yeasty girl. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm going to just pretend that means that you're going to make bagels. And I don't think I want to know.
No, it's not a yeast infection like a girl thing. So
there is a bagel shop called Yeasty Boys.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I thought maybe this was you were doing the female version up here.
No, that's a good name though. No, I have this spot on the back of my scalp that's been really itchy, and I'm like,
right, that little eczema.
Well, I thought so, but then I started getting like my ears, like something similar was happening. So went to the dermatologist. Turns out we sometimes can create more yeast and it can come out in weird spots. Yep. Or you can create yeast and your body has a weird reaction to it. And she's like, with the heat in Texas and the way things are, like it may just be, I'm a hotbed of yeast. So I have to take a topical steroid. And then she's like, and then twice a week, rub your ears and the spot with like Selsun Blue or Head and Shoulders, and then rinse it off, and that will stop it from coming back.
Maybe you should have tried something else.
I think so.
Remember those commercials?
Yes, Head and Shoulders.
Yes.
We're head and shoulders above the rest.
That's right, yes. And they always like dust off the skin flakes off the shoulder.
Yeah. So that's been quite a journey. Like, I was like,
Never had dandruff, by the way.
I never have either.
I feel like growing up, there was so many commercials for dandruff shampoo that I thought, like, surely everybody must have dandruff in their life. It was like quicksand. It was one of those things that we were all that we were all going to have to deal with at some point, whether we liked it or not. And yet, neither of us have died in quicksand or had dandruff. Thank you.
And coffee crystals. Like, I was like, I guess coffee is just made with coffee crystals because of all like the Folgers ads and Maxwell House, and it was like in the tin. And I was just like, instant coffee. Like, that was a thing. At least it was in our house. But yeah, totally. Dandruff was just such a common thing. And do you remember all the jingles like for the deodorant ban? Ban and sportswear, ban and dresswear, ban with everything from cotton to cashmere. If you care, you'll bother. Don't wear one without the other.
I remember ban deodorant, but I don't remember ever seeing a commercial for them. But
I just pulled that from the deep recesses of my soul.
There you go.
So anyway.
I remember by Manon.
Oh, yeah, right? Totally. I mean, like, there was another one that, I don't know, there's so many jingles. You and I have talked about jingles in the past. Like, it's a whole thing. Yeah.
We'll let them come up naturally.
Exactly.
We don't have to
we don't need
spend
to
a whole
force it.
segment. Yes.
Anyway, so, yeah, working on my yeasty stuff and
all right,
getting sane and healthy so that I can head off to Veranda Beach, where I am always sane and healthy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Except for like last year when you spent the whole time limping around with a broken or
details
injured ankle.
Yeah, I mean total details, not a thing at all. It's totally fine. Yeah, actually, it was kind of the pits. So I'm looking forward to being able to move around.
Happy and healthy and dandruff-free.
Yeast-free. So if you're ever trying to kill yeast, use Head and Shoulders. It's
right, but it sounds
rest.
like, it doesn't sound like you're going to be yeast-free. It sounds like you're going to be dandruff-free. So let's celebrate what we can.
All right, fine. I'm trying to think if anything else is exciting has happened.
I watched a couple classic movies, so that was exciting for me. And of course, we'll talk about that in our next segment, which is our cultural blind spot segment. I'll tell you one thing. One of these movies is on the AFI Top 100.
I did one too.
And do I think that it should be? Well, we'll get into it.
Oh, all right. I'm excited to hear. Sometimes we talk about what we've watched ahead of the show. This time we didn't, so I'm curious.
That's true. Yeah, this will be a surprise.
Totally. I love that.
All right. Well, should we take a break so we can get through this episode and get packed?
Are you looking at all the clothes behind me?
No, I'm just thinking how I haven't packed anything yet. I'm not ready to go at all, but
100%.
I got to get on it.
Let's do it.
Everybody stay tuned for more Don't Ask Me to Talk. Imagine a place where cannonballs are encouraged, marshmallows are mandatory, and just 5 more minutes turns into all day. That's Veranda Beach Resort on Lake Osoyoos, one of the warmest freshwater lakes in North America, located on the border of Canada in Oroville, Washington. The vibe is delightfully old school, with time spent with family and friends at the beach, on the lake, and under the stars. Sounds of laughter, dogs, and screen doors are the soundtracks of your stay. Rent your own fully furnished cottage with Wi-Fi and all the comforts you need. It's the best of then with all the ease of now. Veranda Beach Resort. Come play, stay, and make memories. Visit verandabeach.com now to book your stay. And welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk, one of your podcast pals. Eric Ryder here with you.
Hey, I am Stacy Heller. I am itchy because now it's like when you talk about lice and your head itches, now I'm talking about my little...
You're literally itching to go with this next segment.
I am itching to go. Actually, I kind of am because I'm curious what you watched and I'm excited to share what I watched.
Well, before we do that, I do want to mention if during the break you heard the spot for Veranda Beach and you're planning your getaway, you want to make sure to call them and mention Don't Ask Me to Talk or your podcast pal, Stacy Heller, and get yourself a 10% discount. Pretty sweet deal. So
yeah,
make sure you do so and come up and see us. Well,
yeah.
Come see Stacy. I'll be gone probably by the time anybody hears this and is up there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Totally. Come up, visit, as long as you're not a crazy stalker or killer.
Right. Yes, please.
And don't ask me to talk. We can have a cocktail on the porch and we can chit chat.
Or the veranda, if you will.
Oh my gosh, you're so smart. Look at you making connections like that.
All right. So this is the segment that we like to talk about our cultural blind spots, which is big pieces of culture that neither of us have had the chance to see over our lifetimes. We've explained this many times. We've lived sheltered lives. We're trying to come out of our shells and
I don't know if it's
check out some of these big things.
Or if it's like an echo
list.
chamber, right? It's like, you know what you know.
Yes.
Right? I mean...
Everybody's got busy lives, of course.
Exactly. I mean, you don't have kids, so you don't watch kids' movies. I had kids, so I missed most everything between the years of 1996 and 2010.
Well, of course, and a lot of it is the timing of your life.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So chances are you may not have seen a lot of movies from the 30s or 40s if you were born in the 60s or 70s or 80s, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it goes, you know. You see movies as they're thrust at you and promoted upon you rather than necessarily like going back. But it is nice to go back sometimes and see what the hype was about and to see what, pieces of culture have like trickled down through the years into the current big pieces of culture. And I'm talking movies, TV, etc.
Right. Yeah, no, it's so true. And the movie that I watched came out the year before I was born.
Oh, wow. So 1935?
Okay. Okay.
Because that's when my movie came out. But no, what? I don't actually know what year you were born. So
I have to send you the address, by the way. So you better read good.
I was only teasing, of course.
In 1970. So this came out in 1969, the year that we landed on the moon, and the year that the Gap was established.
Nice.
Yeah, important year.
What happened in 1969?
Well, the movie Midnight Cowboy.
Besides the Gap opening, we know where your priorities are.
Hey, I worked for the Gap, so these are the factoids that I had to know.
So did my sister. So,
hey, see?
And making connections all over.
Speaking of jingles, fall into the Gap. Remember that?
No.
Okay. So anyway, the Gap, Man on the Moon, and Midnight Cowboy.
You saw Midnight Cowboy. This is a classic movie. In my brief film studies in college, that was one of the movies that we were instructed to watch. And it is a big movie with great acting and some big-time people that were pretty young in their careers at the time. And a very compelling movie, and one of the few movies that is still like critically adored that was once rated X.
Yes, so, and it won an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me more.
Well, okay. If we're being honest, it's not that I confused them because I know they're two different movies. But I painted Midnight Cowboy with the same brush as Rhinestone Cowboy. So, I really did not know what to expect going into this movie. And so imagine my surprise when there is a very young John Voight, which, if you don't know who he is an actor, and he also happens to be Angelina Jolie's father.
That's right.
And
And for if you want to see like the bookends of his career, you watch Midnight Cowboy, where this is like one of his youngest roles, and then you watch Heat, which is one of his oldest roles.
Yeah. So,
which I talked about last week.
Yes. So, and it's like he's from the South, and very quickly you start to get a sense that like he's a bit of a dope, not super educated. He's like heading off to the city and he's going to make his fortune. But he's not going to make his fortune like working hard. Apparently, he's going to romance the wealthy women of like Madison Avenue and Fifth Avenue.
He wants to be a gigolo.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is a term we don't use that often anymore because people are just like, is this even real?
I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go. Yeah.
But a handsome young Joe Buck, played by John Voight, comes to New York. He wants to get off with rich women and make his career doing that. Mm-hmm. And the rich women are, from my recollection, are like, what?
Right.
I thought you just liked me. I didn't know I was going to have to pay for this service.
Right. And his whole shtick of being like a cowboy, was like too gimmicky. And so it was kind of like, nah. And
if he had just, done the naked cowboy thing, he could have just gone to Times Square and made a living doing that.
The longest career ever in tighty whities with a guitar. And so it was just so interesting watching like him in the city kind of lose his naivety just through trial and error. Mm-hmm. He meets a guy who has a limp and who is sickly. That guy happens to be Dustin Hoffman.
Right. His character is called Ratso Rizzo.
Mm-hmm. And they become kind of buddies towards the end. I think
maybe the most famous line in this movie is Ratso Rizzo crossing the street, nearly getting hit by a cab, and says, "Hey, I'm walking here."
Yes. I was like, that's where this is from?
Yes.
I always thought that was from Taxi Driver.
No, but apparently that line was improvised by Dustin Hoffman as they filmed it because he didn't expect the cab to come up that close. And so then he says the line and the rest is history.
It's history.
It's great how stuff like that can happen.
Well, and that's the thing with this whole cultural blind spot thing, right? That you're like, oh, I've heard people say that. And like, so then I was like, this is where this is from. So that was an awesome surprise. Mm-hmm. I can see, though, why this movie is on the AFI 100 list of like greatest American movies. It is like interspersed with like at one point when he's having sex, you're taken through like this visual kaleidoscope of his past fragmented memories of his trauma from childhood, and then just sensory download of like what's happening at the time. And so it's this, like I said, visual kaleidoscope of emotional and physical, visceral reactions to what's going on. He goes to a party that strikes me as very much like Warhol's The Factory. Like debauchery, sex, drugs, like the whole thing. And
it's very much like a slice of New York life in a particular time period.
Mm-hmm. Very much, very much. And, it was like the have and the have-nots, right? Because it was like mm-hmm. ladies who are doing lunch and that whole vibe. But then if you weren't a part of that, then it was very grimy and like gritty. And, they're living in an abandoned building and like the whole thing. So I was just like, oh, the way that this movie really punctuates and brings around like why this person is so transactional, why he connects with older women, why he like the cowboy shtick, the lack of education, like the way that those things are explained through these flashes and these memories. The sexuality, addressing homosexuality and just sexuality in general.
Yeah.
Like that was just amazing. And then how surprisingly poignant it is at the end.
Yeah.
Like it was, the Ratso Rizzo character, he is like desperate to get to Florida because he's convinced that this cough that he has would go away if he could just get to Florida.
Right.
And so Joe Buck takes care of business and gets money for bus tickets, and they head to Florida. And sadly, spoiler alert from 57 years ago, he dies on the
Right.
bus when they reach Florida. And it just fades to black. Like, but meanwhile, Joe Buck is like, I'm thinking I might need to get a job because, like, this whole gigolo thing just feels like it's a lot of work.
Right.
And like he's actually has a human relationship that's not transactional. He cares about people. He takes off the whole cowboy outfit. He's had this huge growth as a result of this experience.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting movie. It was really one that made me appreciate the art of filmmaking. So yeah.
Agreed, and amazing that it was ever rated X. But at the time, there wasn't like NC-17. There
Right.
wasn't the differences were a little bit different between what a G was, what a PG was, and what a R was. So nowadays, I really think maybe that would have been an R, possibly even a PG-13. I can't think of anything particularly in that movie that was so salacious.
Boobs.
Maybe, yeah, some nudity and
And
maybe just the hint of homosexuality that they talk about because of being a gigolo in New York. That's where the actual money is. It's not
right. Right.
There's just not that many wealthy old women that want to get off with a cowboy.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it was great. I'm so glad I watched it. It was, as I said, I've kind of left my apartment era and now I'm in my Texas era and cowboys. And so
Well, I really think it's more of a New York movie than a Texas movie, but
well, yes.
maybe you can hop on the bus to get to Veranda Beach and you can watch a whole bunch of movies about being on buses.
That's true. Now I got to do a bus genre. Like art and life, they inspire. Yeah, but it was great. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it, especially if you're a like film buff or art person or whatever it is. Like I said, really the mechanism that was used to flesh him out as a whole character was really, really interesting. And it made you care about him at the end instead of thinking that he was just a dumb knucklehead loser from the South.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it is a great movie, and it's one that I haven't seen in a long time, so I may have to revisit that sometime soon.
yeah. So that's mine. What's yours, Mr. Year Before You Were Born?
Well, very good. Well, this one actually not a year before I was born, and I'll tell you what, I watched two movies this week, and one of them is on the AFI 100 top 100 list. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But because of your selection this week, I want to talk about the other movie that I watched, which actually came out in 1977 and is not on the AFI Top 100. But the cultural impact of this movie was so huge that I've been meaning to watch this for years, never got around to it, and partially because of the music. But I went ahead and finally watched Saturday Night Fever, which came out in 1977, stars young John Travolta in it. And you know what? Just as you were talking about Midnight Cowboy, it reminded me so much of what Saturday Night Fever was attempting to do. It's a grimy New York slice of life about a character coming of age with all these like different edgy kind of things happening around him and with him. And it's actually pretty similar in a way to Midnight Cowboy. The big difference is there's a lot more disco in this.
Significant difference.
Yeah, he's a handsome young man. A
stud.
Yeah, as Joe Buck thinks of himself, John Travolta's character, Tony Marino, really is that guy, except he's not really a gigolo, but he is like, a lot of the Brooklyn women around him are trying to get with him because they are impressed by his dancing. And you know what? This had such a huge, it lingered over my childhood like a shadow. You couldn't go like to like a store without seeing like a Saturday Night Fever poster in the poster rack. That image of Travolta in the white suit with his arm up pointing to the sky while he's dancing. That image was so big and it was so ubiquitous. And the soundtrack, one of the best-selling soundtracks of all time, with a whole bunch of songs by the Bee Gees, that was so big. And those songs were, like, when I was a kid, that was just all over the radio until, like, disco just died, and then it just, like, disappeared. But in the 70s, when this came out, 77, it was just, you couldn't imagine how big this was. So I was expecting, I put off watching this because for a long time I just couldn't stand disco.
Well, that's fair.
And disco imagery and stuff. That just seemed like such a relic of a time that, I didn't want to be, associated with. I've kind of grown up since then, and just like now I like a lot of that music. But so I thought, like, okay, so that's going to be the hard part with this movie is getting past all the disco music in it. Turns out that's the best part of this movie. And it is, I just think this is an okay movie, and I don't understand how it was so big. It was just I guess the fact that disco was so popular at the time. People wanted something that brought together all this music and showed people getting down and dancing and stuff. But the story itself is really pretty mediocre. I mean, he works at a paint store and he goes dancing. I mean, these are the big highlights of his life.
Yeah. He's from an Italian-American family that's very much like classic Italian-American family,
right?
Like still living at home, like mom making the meals and like the whole thing.
It's like maybe if I lived in Brooklyn in the 70s, this would have far more of an emotional impact on me. Like, oh, the difference between Manhattan and Brooklyn, it's so huge, but for an outsider who doesn't live in New York, it just felt like, who cares?
Right. Well, it's a slice of life for sure.
Yeah. And there's like, his dumb friends like climb up on this bridge that they always cross and they like pretend like they're falling off and stuff. And then at the end, one of them does fall off. And it's just like, okay, well, you're dumb. Your whole posse's dumb. This whole scene is dumb. And every woman in this movie could have done much better. All these guys are just
dancer, and then she gets
scumbags.
Sort of attacked. Yes, and then she gets attacked kind of in the back of the car.
Yeah.
And they just treat her horribly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
So, aside from Midnight Cowboy, it actually reminded me a lot of a movie that came out 2 years later called The Warriors, which is set in an alternate reality New York that's even grimier even scuzzier.
Wow.
But in the Warriors, it's all about these different gangs that that are like facing off against each other, and this one group, the Warriors, are just trying to get back home to Coney Island through the night. But all these gangs are trying to stop them as they make their way back to Coney Island, and it really had a similar vibe to Saturday Night Fever, except that just because of it being more overtly over the top and weird, I felt like that was a more enjoyable watch. But there was still a lot of the same, like, issues with, like, oh yeah, like this is verging on sexual assault in a lot of scenes in this.
Right.
It's like just creepy characters being creepy a lot. I don't know, but I think The Warriors is more of an enjoyable, like, so bad it's good kind of watch, whereas I just felt like Saturday Night Fever is kind of just like, there's some decent dancing in it, but for the most part, that's not even like the thrust of the movie. It would be better if there was more of the dancing, I would have thought. I don't know. I can't like recommend it, but some of the music is good and some of the dancing is good. But it is an interesting cultural artifact. I'll say that. And I just don't understand how it was so massive. But it really was.
I mean, I think it was very much a slice of what was going on at the time with, like, you think about how Studio 54 was huge and Club Kids and all that kind of stuff. And, also it's not that far off of, like, I'm not Italian, but I'm Italian by marriage. And like that close family unit, like I had dinner with Pete's friend's family one time in Hoboken. And I'm like, oh, like the furniture's covered in plastic and the men are all downstairs and
Right.
the women are like it was very much like that. And that is absolutely like the cultural norm. And I think it's very much a slice of that specific group of people and a slice of that particular time.
I just feel like we've seen that portrayed so much better in different movies than this.
At least he wasn't in the mob.
Yeah, there's that. And his brother is a priest who drops out of the priesthood, and that seems to be like a major chunk of the drama there.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, gonna have to give it a thumbs down. But it was interesting because, of course, there's so much from this movie that has echoed through the years in culture. I mean, just the very famous opening scene with Staying Alive playing while he's kind of strutting down the street. I mean, that if you just watch that clip, that's enough. That's all you need to know about this movie. And that's great. The rest of it, I can't say that you're missing anything particular with it.
All right, fine.
I'd say watch The Warriors if you want like a 70s skeezy New York movie, because that one at least is pretty entertaining.
Warriors!
Come out and play!
Is that what that's from?
Yes.
Is it really?
It absolutely is.
I never knew. Pete says that all the time, and I never knew what that was from.
You may have to watch the movie.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Another cultural blind spot. Figured out.
And there's two, in both of those movies, the line, "Can you dig it?" is in it.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay, what's the other movie that you watched?
All right. So having seen that, I thought, well, okay, I'm going to watch a classic, but I want it to be something really good. So I consulted the AFI Top 100 again and picked a movie that A, would fit into the time period that I had, which was about 90 minutes, but also B, would be, a stone cold classic. If it's on the Top 100, it should be, in my opinion. And I had never seen a Marx Brothers movie before. So I decided I was going to check out A Night at the Opera,
I
which is on,
almost watched that.
yeah, from 1935, and chalked up to be a cultural classic, and is on the AFI Top 100. And of course, we all know the Marx Brothers, Groucho Marx especially, Harpo, Chico. Those three are the ones in this. I know they had two other brothers, but apparently they're not in this particular movie. And so I was prepared to love this, because even though I had this feeling like this might be kind of homeworky, just like I did watching the Charlie Chaplin movie, Modern Times, I was ready to be won over by just the cleverness of this. I gotta say, I was deeply disappointed in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, which I hate to say, because I can understand how this was a big thing at the time. And for 1935, this would have been like nobody would have seen stuff like this. The Marx Brothers came out of vaudeville. They were very popular in vaudeville, and they found a way to take that spirit of vaudeville and transfer it into a movie. Mm-hmm. But I think that doesn't really work. They've taken a lot of stuff and slapped it together in what comes out to be just a bunch of dumb skits put together to equal the 90 minutes of a movie. And the characters, they really don't have much. I mean, if you met any of these people in real life, you would have punched them in the face and walked away. So now I understand it's a screwball comedy. They're agents of chaos, and you got to just kind of go with that. It's kind of like the Dumb and Dumber of its time. But in 100 years from now or 90 years from now, I don't expect to see Dumb and Dumber on the AFI Top 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I laughed at that when I watched it in the theater, but I don't chalk that up as being one of the greatest movies of all time. And I can only assume this is one of their better movies because, again, it's on the Top 100. There is some funny stuff in there, don't get me wrong, and there is a moment where they're on a cruise ship coming to New York, and they take over like the band's instruments, and they do some goofy gags with like piano and stuff. And there's a moment where Harpo picks up the harp, his namesake, and starts playing the harp, and it's beautiful. It's transcendent. It's not funny, but it is like his harp playing is incredible. And it's like, this should be the whole movie as far as I'm concerned, because something about just his face as he plays it and the music that he creates is like so compelling. I mean, Jonathan Richman even wrote a song about it called When Harpo Plays His Harp, because it is that sort of thing that when you watch this in a screwball movie, you're like, what the hell? But it's like you're transfixed by it.
And I think it's fascinating that he legitimately plays the harp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like that this is like not him like sort of pantomiming.
No.
He legitimately was a masterful cello or harp player.
Harpist, yes. Yeah, it really is. And there's some kind of funny lines in there, but not as many as you would hope, and a whole bunch of just really bad, like we would say dad jokes, but I don't think they like even get to dad level jokes. They're just not clever. It's just bad. And so I don't, and then the other thing is, as I talked about how like the disco of Saturday Night Fever kept me away for years. Mm-hmm. They, I guess rightly so, because it's called The Night at the Opera, shoehorn a ton of opera into this movie.
Oh my gosh. That's the pits.
And I have just never been an opera fan. And it's hard to get past it when they're going on for like 5 minutes of, and it's just like, okay,
yeah,
back to the jokes, please. I gotta say, maybe like 75% into this movie, it picks up enough that I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. But I am shocked this is on the AFI Top 100.
Interesting.
For me, it's a no from me, dog.
But maybe it's on because of that transference from live like vaudeville and that kind of entertainment to the screen, and they were sort of the first ones that did that in that way.
I feel like of classic comedies, there's Laurel and Hardy, there's the Chaplin movies, there's Buster Keaton, there's all that stuff from that time period that is just executed so much better, and so much more innovatively. And I've never seen a Three Stooges movie.
Yeah.
So I assume it's got a similar kind of vibe. And I wonder if maybe I would have liked that better, or maybe Keystone Cops or something, because there is that screwball energy, which can be infectious. But boy, did this not impress me.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Like the Marx Brothers was never really my thing. I will say, this is sort of weird, but
now wait, let me ask you, have you seen this movie?
No, but I've seen like bits, which is
right.
Through the years, the things that you see and the references and whatever. One thing that I remember is watching old reruns of I Love Lucy, and Harpo Marx was on I Love Lucy, and they did a bit where they're doing the mirror miming. Mm-hmm. And so you've got like the comedian of comedy, and you've got, a Titan, Harpo, and they are mirroring each other's actions. And it was a really fun thing to see. And so little bits like that are memorable and kind of their shtick, you sort of know what it is. But I never loved the shtick that much that I was like seeking that out. So it's good to know that can, if I try to cross off all of the 100 movies, that might have to wait until like, I don't know.
It is mercifully short. I will say that. And I think like if you watch like a compilation of the best of the Marx Brothers, you would probably have some pretty funny stuff. I just don't think that it holds up for a whole movie. And I feel like there was definitely other stuff in 1935 that could have made this list that would have been a bit stronger. But again, everybody's got opinions. This is just my humble opinion. So
that's fair.
If you're a Marx Brothers stan out there, and where was Carl? I kept waiting for him to show up, but anyway.
So. Wrong brothers, but
right.
What a knucklehead you are. Okay, well, it's funny that you say that, though. I was thinking about watching A Night at the Opera, and then the other one that's on Canopy is Playtime or High Time or something like that, and it's apparently a series of like humorous sketches or something, and I was thinking about watching that, and then, like I said, somehow got on to Midnight Cowboy and
I think you made the right choice.
I think
Midnight Cowboy is a much better movie than anything I watched this week.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
And had a bigger cultural impact, in my opinion, as well. There's a whole Seinfeld episode that is structured in the same way that Midnight Cowboy is, including the bus ride with Kramer in the Ratso Rizzo role, just slumping over on the bus. Once you see that, you're like, oh, of course.
That's so cool. Okay, now I got to look at that. Interesting. All right. Well, I am very happy for my choice this week, and
they can't all be winners, for me, and that's fine. For me, I get some satisfaction out of, again, having seen how these things like trickled down through the ages, and just kind of finally understanding, that's what that was all about.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't like love these particular two movies, it was still like undeniable how the cultural impact from them. And maybe for A Night at the Opera, it was more just the cultural impact of the Marx Brothers themselves. And for Saturday Night Fever, it really was, that movie was, insanely big. It's like
ubiquitous with that time. Like
absolutely.
The Farrah Fawcett poster with the red bathing suit or whatever that was.
And her poster is up on his wall in the movie.
Yes.
And Al Pacino's poster is up on the wall, which he's come up a number of times in this cultural blind spot segment. So it was funny. And they even say, you look like Al Pacino. And so, there's a scene where he's like coming out of his room in his little tidy blackies and he's like, his grandmother's looking at him and he's going, Attica, which, it's a Serpico thing, I believe.
Yeah.
Which I may have to watch Serpico now so I can understand that. But
right?
Yeah.
One begets the other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. All right. Well, I love the way that things just overlap.
It all comes together here on the show.
It does.
And we need to take a break right now, and we need to come back and talk about our top topic, or our great debate, if you will, which involves reality TV.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a great debate.
Well, we'll see. We didn't even, I think, read out the whole title of the topic last week. So I'm looking forward to even hearing that.
There you go.
Stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Don't Ask Me to Talk. This is Eric Ryder reminding you to follow us on Facebook. We're at Don't Ask Me to Talk, and we're on Instagram, again, at Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'd love to hear from you, so check us out on social media and leave us a comment. Leave us a like. Remember, you can always email us directly at asking@don'taskmetotalk.com or leave us a voicemail or text at 475-999-2726. That's 475-999-2726. And we're back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Hey, I'm Stacey Heller, and I'm joined by Eric Ryder.
That's me.
And we're going to talk about our top topic because we keep it real here.
Every week, we spin the wheel of topics. Get yourself one if you don't have one. They're very handy. And the wheel picks a topic for us to talk about or debate here on the last segment of the show. Now, last week it landed on reality TV, something. Stacey, you're the person that puts these topics on the wheel. So I always like to find out, A, what the full topic is, and B, what inspired you to drop it into the conversation.
Well, so reality TV has become like such a thing. I mean, there is, all of the housewives, and there's all of the bachelors, although that maybe is mercifully ended. Like, it's the worst. There is all of the shows that's like I think these are considered like Survivor and Amazing Race. I think they're sort of considered reality. There's just like, it is a whole full-on genre. And so I have a lot of friends that watch it, and it's like, oh, it's my guilty pleasure and everything. And I'm like, look, I am all for brain rot. I mean, I used to read Harlequins. I drink. I'm sure that's killing brain cells. I scroll on social media at times and like to watch drunk Karens getting arrested. Love it. I just cannot bring myself to watch these reality TV shows. So the topic was reality TV. Is it like just entertainment, or is it like a social commentary? Because like these shows started out, like back as like an experiment almost. Like you brought up MTV Rules or whatever, MTV.
The Real World.
The Real World.
Which 1992, it was really the first of the what we consider reality TV today, as far as I'm concerned, because I know there was other stuff like Candid Camera
Right.
beforehand that had like kind of a jokey setup, almost like it was a prank show kind of thing.
Yep.
Technically, that's reality TV, but you're not following these characters long term in their lives and their interactions. You're seeing a little slice of how they react to one thing. So you, in a way, you could say a game show
Yep.
was reality TV.
Yep.
And there was a documentary called An American Family from 1973. And this kind of told that story. And there was various films that were like that. There's like the 7 Up series in England that checks in on different people every 7 years and as they grow up. So there's the 7 Up, 14 Up, 21 Up, 28 Up, etc. And this one filmmaker just checks in with these same group of kids as they've grown up through their lives and basically like fills in the story of what they've been up to for 7 years. And those are fascinating.
Yeah.
And high-minded, and they're trying to make a bigger point about how people's lives, change over time. And it is interesting that it seems like there was this high-minded idea behind reality and documentary television and film back in those early days of the genre, but now it's gone full out. What's
Spectacle.
the spectacle? Yeah. What's the the dumbest, most just useless people we could find, cram them in a room and see if they'll fight.
Yeah. I mean, and I think like that's like the premise of the real world was like, okay, we're going to pick a city, we're going to have this house and people from all different walks of life and backgrounds.
And in 1992, it was New York City. So it ties into the movies that we watched.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the idea. You had a bunch of like people in their early 20s together in a loft in New York for the first time from different backgrounds and just seeing how they would react to each other. And for the large part, they got along, and it was a little bit boring. Then you see, as the seasons go on, how they start engineering it so that there's more drama than there would have been if you just got a bunch of random people together like they did. They start putting people that are like troublemakers or, like are just going to offend people and say stuff just to be offensive, I think we've seen this trickle down through the years on social media, how like algorithms are boosting those people because that drama is engagement.
Totally.
So yeah, it is
100%.
interesting.
I mean, it went to Jersey Shore, right? Where then it's a group of friends. And like, I mean, those people, like you still like you open up an Us magazine while you're standing in line and you'll be like, Snooki's like done whatever. And I'm like, I didn't watch Snooki then. Like, how is she still relevant? And, then obviously celebrity culture, like the Kardashians, they've been doing this forever. And, it's like, I guess good on Kim for turning a sex tape into an empire. I mean, talk about reality. But was it? Like, supposedly they didn't leak it, but like, also, who knows? I mean, it's just, I think in the beginning it could have been interesting, but now it is a social commentary on how much we as viewers have like given this genre the space to grow and flourish. Like, I don't even think it's on them that are doing it. I think it's on the viewers that are like eating this stuff up. Like, it's like watching a car crash. And I mean, like, I guess isn't that a form of entertainment? You're like, glad it's not me, pass the popcorn. So I'm not dissing anybody that watches it. Like, I get the appeal.
Yeah.
The question here, though, is like, is it just entertainment or is it some kind of a social commentary on where we are in 2026? And I guess it's both.
Right. No, I
And
mean, I think we're both in agreement that it really is the lowest common denominator of television. And I mean, it sticks around because A, it's popular, but B, it's also cheap to produce. They don't have to have a lot of sets. They don't have to, pay a lot of well-known actors. They just pay the producers basically, and they kind of write up these conflicts for them and kind of hoist them on these people, and then see what happens. And then they edit it in such a way that it tells a story. So the reality part is so far removed now from those early days, if it ever really was that real. I feel like it's definitely transformed over time, where it definitely felt more real in the early days, stuff like The Real World in 1992. But I just, after like watching that first season of Real World, I was like, oh, okay, this is novel. But I never expected it to take over TV and the world.
like
And it did.
scripted TV
Yes.
is like the minority of what is on TV, it feels like these days.
Right,
It's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
And, and the other thing that's really interesting is those early shows like, what was it? Like Laguna Beach or whatever the drama was with Lauren Conrad and all of that nonsense. Like it's so interesting because all these years later, like they almost like the drama was manufactured, but then they also bought into the drama, and now like they started to believe what was manufactured. So like, Lauren doesn't talk to Heidi anymore or whatever. And it's like, that this was all like a setup, right? Like
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
like some of this was obviously like you can't, when somebody's a jerk, you can't hide that they're a jerk and everything.
Right.
And like
Right.
they don't need any help. But just generally, like the frenzy that happens around the shows and the people, it just further cements then like that dynamic. And, look at the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I mean, that's a shit show.
Yeah. And, it's funny that the scripted TV that is using the concept of reality TV, like The Office, per se, it seems more real and more based in reality than anything that calls itself reality TV. It's just like they're using the idea of this being a documentary, and then like actual stories of human interaction that relates way more to how people really are than these like coked up, housewives going crazy, throwing champagne in each other's faces,
Well, and look at shows like 27 and Counting or whatever that show was with the couple, the Duggars that had all those kids. And now it turns out that those kids are like sexual predators and like whatever and are in jail. Like, how real is that? Like, the family is able to portray something that's not at all real, and people start to get into it and buy it. And, now we've got generations of ick. It's just ick.
I think that's the best description I've ever heard. Generations of ick when it comes to reality TV. Yeah. I think it is just, the lowest common denominator. But you know what? If people find it entertaining and those people are being compensated for being on these shows, I can't really judge. It's just like,
there's no victims except maybe future sociologist when they research this.
Well, I think society in itself is a victim of having to constantly hear about the Kardashians. I never signed up for that. And yet all the time I'm hearing about their latest dumb exploits, and I just don't care. But, that's part of reality as we live it, whether we like it or not.
And the way that our phones work and, things work, like I consciously try not to click stories about them so that I don't have to see as much because it
Yes.
follows suit. So I try to be a little bit more conscious about who I'm like, what articles I click on and those kinds of things.
You got to
Because
train that algorithm.
yeah, you do. And I'm like, I just don't care about it. There are other celebrities that I would much rather stalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just try not to click on celebrity stuff in general, but I do find myself occasionally doing that. And then I'm like instantly regretting it when the article is just a bunch of fluff, a nothing burger that's been blown up so that clickbait, I guess, is what I'm
Totally.
trying to say. Yeah.
Well, how
Life
many
has become
times-
clickbait. Reality TV is clickbait.
It's so true because, like, you'll see an interview, for instance, like a celebrity or famous person is on, like, Stephen Colbert, right? Rest in
Yes.
peace. And
He's still with us.
he is.
His
yes.
show is
The
coming
show,
to an end.
Sorry.
Yes.
And yeah, sorry. He's alive, everybody. It's okay.
Yes.
And so then what happens is somebody writes an article about, like, oh, well, so-and-so said this. And it's basically just regurgitating what the journalist watched on TV
Right.
and like just said the same thing. And I'm like, that's not any like news. Like,
No,
what?
it's not.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely like, oh, we've got to get a piece of that in case somebody doesn't watch The Late Show. We want to get a piece of that news action.
Well, the complete opposite of reality TV here. We're on the same page. We agree and are not fighting at all.
No.
So I'm sorry if this ended up boring for anybody.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
unfortunately, we are out of time. So we'll figure out what we're going to talk about next week on the show. And maybe it'll be a little spicier.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we have to think about watching the same thing, by the way, while you're visiting in Veranda Beach, and we can talk about it.
Possibly. And a little bit spicier in the topic because it's ketchup or mustard. So I couldn't have planned that.
That's our topic for next week.
That's our topic for next week. Ketchup or mustard, folks.
Gotta love that. Okay, great.
Why not both, of course, is my answer, but we'll dig into it.
Yes, we will.
Perfect for Memorial Day to sample both and come out with a definitive opinion.
Exactly. We can be inclusive, but also sometimes I'm exclusive with one and not the other. So, all right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Take care, everybody.